also have like the Lakura and all. Even talking about political violence too, were often fueled by ethnic or regional rivalries, posing a big threat to democratic processes and the safety of citizens. We also have the state citizen trust, where there are growing concerns that the state may be seen as a threat by citizens, particularly those who feel marginalized or excluded from political processes. Also, talking about the economic inequality, talk about the ethnic tensions, tribalism, religious divisions, all of these and more are what we'll be looking at today on Spotlight. Joining me live to review these issues, these challenges. First, he's a lawyer and an economist. We have Barrister Fred Okay Nze Ako. Barrister Fred, welcome to the show. Good morning to you, Barrister. Barrister Fred, can you hear me? Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, and also joining us live is an assistant, a former assistant director of internal security, SSS. Well, is retired. Mr. Adams Habu. Mr. Adams, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to be with you this morning.
Okay. And now, there's been a lot of democratic challenges right here. But first, let me put it to you. Let's on a lighter mode. Since inception, 26 years now of unbroken democracy, how will you rate democratic processes? Let me start with Barrister.
Thank you. 26 years of civil rule. I think I am more comfortable, and it is more realistic to use the word civil rule instead of democracy in Nigeria, because we have not ascended that higher pedestal of claiming to be a democratically running country. Yes, 26 years of civil rule. They said our democracy is nascent, and these days, I wonder if it is even if it is even nascent. Democracy is somewhere below the level of nascency. Yes, 26 years of civil rule. We cannot say we have fared so well in terms of all indices of human development, all indices of human welfare, and all indices of good governance. Democracy is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. The only aspect of the civil rule that involves the people is at the level of election. Once election is over, the people are kept at a very far distance from those who are in authority, from those who are elected. And that is what has made it our civil situation to be very poor and not very close to the democratic ideals. And that is why, unfortunately, some people begin to analyze our civil experience with our military experience. And people are tempted to even place their experience under the military above their experience under the civil administrations that we have had since 1999. And why do I say so? Why do people reason like that? Because the basic essence of government, the reason for government, is for the protection of lives and properties of people.
Yes.
And that is why in a civilized environment, the citizens surrender their individual capacities, their individual authorities to an entity called government, and expect that the government should protect them. And that is the whole essence, as enshrined in Section 14 of Nigerian Constitution, 1999 as amended, that the basic essence of government is for the protection of lives and properties of the people. So if government has failed to do so under the civilian dispensation, then we cannot beat our chest and say we have a democratic government, because the people are not protected. The people life is not improved. The people do not enjoy the dividends of that democracy. And life is even more harrowing under the civil rule, than under the military, from Nigerians' experience. So if you now look at it from that prism, from that pedestal, you can say that we do not practice democracy in Nigeria. Rather, what we have is civil rule that has lasted for 26 years and has refused or failed to transmute into a democracy where the government will be of the people, for the people, and by the people.
Okay, thank you very much, Barrister. Let me come to Mr. Adams. Mr. Adams, I'm sure you heard Barrister in that comment, in that conversation there. It says life is even more harrowing than under the military than the civil rule. You are a retired SSS. What do you make of that comment? Do you agree with that? It has been probably fair enough. It's been good enough then, even than now, because Nigerians have been really saying that there's some things that all politicians rather have been saying that some things would have been if not for democracy. Let's take your view on this.
Oh, thank you very much. I think I am not going to be significantly different from what the last speaker has said. Let us look at it. One of the major challenges that we have in this country today is insecurity. And we have had various accusations that even the non-state actors that are perpetrating this insecurity in our country before others join were claimed to have been invited into this country by politicians. In other words, they want to have more votes so that they can be in government. Is that what democracy is supposed to be all about? And when you look at all other factors, have we really, as a nation, developed into a nationhood where everybody participates in making life meaningful to all the citizens? You and I are here in this country. Why do you think our naira goes down every day? One of the reasons we have had is that when some people, including some government officials at all levels, get allocation, you go and buy hard currency and save them in their votes. It is not that they are going to use them to establish factories where people can work. Over the years, how many factories have gone down the drains as a result of corruption, especially government establishments. You can see what happened to our refineries over the years. You can even see what happened to other private investment over the years. They have all closed down as a result of corruption. How then will government be the government of the people for the people? And even the election period, you can see the desperation in the area of buying votes, and in the area of coercing people, and in the area of fraudulent vote manipulations. So all this does not show that democracy is being practiced the way it should be. Our electoral systems are faulty, our judiciary are something else, and our economy goes down the drain every day.
What way should it be? We have looked, our barrister has said that it has been fair enough, even then, than even now that it's civil rule. So what way should it have been? Security-wise, a lot has been going down, killings, fresh attacks in Plateau State, in the north, in Borno State, different part of the country. So what way should it have been?
The way it should have been is for us to practice democracy the way we copy it from those that started democracy. But we are not doing anything near it. We are not doing anything near it. If you look at the issue of ethnicity, as a matter of fact, our own type of democracy is for what an individual benefits personally from participating in politics, and not what really most of them are coming to give to the society that they represent. If you look at, just imagine the kind of empowerment that our politicians give to their constituents these days. Some of them will just go and buy shoe shining equipment, a wheelbarrow, and all the like. How does this develop the economy that will improve the lives of the people they represent? So there is the basic things that we are supposed to do. Practicing even conducting election the way it should be, we don't do it. Okay, now we have election in 2027. We elected politicians to run for 4 years. Even before we finish the first half, campaign for 2027 for another 4 years has started. And we think with all this practice, we'll get the gains of democracy. Not far from it. And that is why ethnicity, religion, and all these other factors that don't matter in countries that democracy is benefiting their people is taken into cognizance. So until we get the basics right, for democracy to solve our problems will be difficult. Look at even the insecurity across the country. There are insecurity in some parts of the country. Either the government or government officials, particularly state government, sometimes don't even admit that they have such challenges. And if you don't admit that you have such challenges, how do you even solve it? So we need to go back to the basics and begin to see how we can do the needful. Than this, what do I call it? Do I call our present approach as just cosmetic? If we don't do it right, the idea that we'll get it, we'll benefit anything from it in the future will be a kind of utopia as far as the present situation is concerned.
Okay, thank you very much. Still talking about the democratic challenges. We're really looking at a security angle right here before we go down to the economy and then ethnic tension. Yes, let's still look at all of these agitations. We're talking about are this necessary in a democratic system where the Boko Haram, the ISWAP, even we have the Biafra and other segmental people who come out to agitate for probably a new course, a new state, a new all of this. Is this what is needed? I'm talking to a barrister like this. With all of this right now, how do we address these challenges? Examining all of this, how do we address these challenges? How should the government really, because this person is really posing a threat to democratic practices.
Yes, when you consider the insecurity in the land, you have to segment them. You have to profile the nature of and the structure of the issues. Things like agitators are different from terrorists. Agitators are different from terrorists. The IPOB agitators are essentially agitating for their rights, and they believe they are doing so within the framework of the internationally set standard, agitating for their freedom, agitating for their right, asking the government to conduct a referendum for them to determine whether they want to remain in the entity called Nigeria or not. And they are agitating peacefully, even though in some cases rancorously, when they themselves meet with the forces of the state. The other part of agitators in southwest of Nigeria, that you call the Odua group,
Yes.
agitating for independence of the Yorubas, that they don't want to be part and parcel of Nigeria anymore. Now you have those who were agitating in the South region. Their main grounds is because of the exploitation and expoliation of their environment,
Don't forget,
which has gone on for decades.
don't forget,
whereby,
Barrister, sorry to comment. Don't forget that these groups you're mentioning too are also posing a threat in society, in the community.
Yes, but you need to profile them the way they are, because their threats are not, it is not in the same basket. In the basket, there are apples and oranges. You need to separate apples and oranges.
Okay.
Because the ones who are agitating in the South region are crying against environmental degradation of their ecosystem, which of course is very visible as a result of oil exploration in their region. Because it's like the goose, the golden goose that lays the golden egg is abandoned to suffer, and they now we're agitating. You now go now to the north. The people you have there are not agitators, they are purely terrorists. Some of them christened by government, especially the past government, as bandits. But in actions and practice, in all aspects of their activities, they are pure terrorists. So, and in all of this, the whole environment of the country, the whole geographical environment called Nigeria is torpedoed by one form of insecurity or challenge or the other. And yes, government said that some of them who were terrorizing the environment in the north are not Nigerians. So, and the same government failed to drive them away from Nigeria because essentially of the impact of politics. Politics has mixed up with security, and things now fell apart and the center cannot hold. So at the end of the day, by the time you profile all these challenges and separate them, you will now know how to treat all the issues. So that was why government in its wisdom treated the issue of South-South agitation with a pardon that was given to the agitators, and the reintegration into the system, their agitation died down. The one in the Southeast that has been clamoring for referendum, government, instead of treating them ingenuinely the way they treated that of the South-South, government now brandished them terrorists. Now, that the whole of that environment became insecure. The ones in the Southwest, they are agitating, but even in the midst of the agitation, some elements now strayed into Southwest from the North, therefore creating tension in the environment. In the middle belt axis of Benue and Plateau, their challenge is that some people just want to take their land. They just want to forcefully dispossess them of their ancestral inheritance. And the government has, again, failed to protect the people in that axis. The one in the north are people who want to exploit the solid minerals under the soil, and thereby brought in all manner of terrorists and bandits to chase away the people and square up against the government security forces and continue to exploit the solid minerals under the soil. In all of this, you can see the failure of government in protecting the lives and properties of the people.
Thank you.
And until we separate politics from security, we may not get it right.
Separating politics from security. I come to Mr. Adams Habu. Is it possible to separate it? Can that be done? Especially in a democratic system like this. We still have to go back to democracy because it's a countdown to Democracy Day, 26 years of unbroken democracy. But then it seems to be like all of this is mixed up in one thing, which is politics. It has gotten to a stage where it seems to be like the only thing that is on our head, the only thing that Nigerians carry for heads is just the politics. It can't be separated with governance. It can't be separated with facts. It can't be separated with economy. It can't be separated with security. It can be separated with all of this agitations, ethnic tensions, and all of this happening in our dear country, Nigeria. Well, before I come to you, Mr. Adams, Nigerians, don't forget you can catch us live on Facebook at Super FM Lagos. You can catch us live on Facebook and on YouTube at Super FM Lagos. Okay, I come to you, Mr. Adams. How do we avoid the mix-up? How do we separate all of this?
Well, thank you very much. I think if we have the political will, we can separate politics from, the kind of insecurity that we have and deal with it squarely. Why did I say that? I'm saying that, remember that there have been, like I said earlier, there have been this accusation that some of these, especially in the north, some of those bandits and terrorists were invited into this country by some politicians. And at that time, if you hear comments of, you seem to have to give credence to some of these accusations. And now that the insecurity has spread, particularly that of the north, is spreading to other parts, of the country, and even new organizations, new terrorist organizations are also spreading up. You heard of recent, after the Lakura wars, another one. And when you are at war, I've been advocating for this. Government should know that we are at war with these non-state actors. And when you are at war, you do many things differently, very, very differently, in terms of your personnel, in terms of even your modus operandi in prosecuting the war, to bring it to a very quick, if not an end, to reduce it to the barest minimum. I think let's give kudos to the present government in terms of the encouragement to security forces. We know that areas that security forces have not been able to hitherto operate or penetrate, they are penetrating now and dealing with the bandits. But it does not seem to be giving the enough result as Nigerians who can say, yes, we have practically achieved something very significant. So we need to do more. We need to do more, but like I said before, even the personnel that, the security forces personnel that are fighting this war are decimated almost on a daily basis. And our recruitment and provision of equipment and technology does not match the decimation. So we need to work hard and we need to change our strategy. Again, you saw of recent a foreigner operating drones with some of these terrorists was arrested somewhere in the north. It was in the news. It was in the media. And if they can go to that level, why wouldn't we? The government now go to the level. I remember. I think Jonathan administration started something by way of bringing in foreign experts to prosecute this war with us. But at the end of the term of his government, I think that agreement was, and it didn't result, but that agreement was terminated. We should look at that aspect and see whether we can manage it effectively and include them in our action. But most importantly, government must admit that the challenges are not in any way, We are not getting over it, and we must work harder than we have worked before so that we can get to where we want to be. And in doing this, Nigerians should agree that the thing that's almost gotten out of hand, and everybody must join hands. If you look at what some of the civilian JTFs are doing in some parts of the country in conjunction with our security forces, great achievements are being achieved. So we do need the other areas, just like one big man in government security forces said of recent, that communities at this stage must be involved in supporting security forces to fight the war that we are currently facing. But without it, it will be difficult for us to get to where we want to be very quickly.
Okay, and now still talking about all of this religious crisis, and let's go to the ethnic tension, and then lastly we'll come to the economy. Let's go to the ethnic tension. There have been a lot of ethnic tensions, indigenous issues, laws and policies that discriminate against non-indigenous residents. All of this, just like a barrister has tried to explain, these agitators, these people are coming together and say, well, my region is supposed to have this. That's even what's happening right there. Just part of the things happening in the political parties, the PDP, the Labour Party, the APC. And recently somebody was even saying that, well, let's wait till when the president tenure is over, and then we'll now see the real APC. That all of this is happening now because they're in power. When the president probably finishes up his 8-year tenure, and then we'll now see the real APC. Don't forget, recently also they've announced that no automatic spot for anybody in the APC. This is like a steam up to what will happen aftermath of this administration. Let me come to you, Barrister. All of this ethnic tension arising, just like I've tried to explain, how do you address it in examining democratic challenges?
Well, of several tribal groups, several ethnic groups, and with over 200 ethnic nationalities speaking over 250 languages. That is the composition of Nigeria.
Do I come in to say that? Sorry to comment. Do I come in to say that we're having too much of ethnic group in Nigeria? Do we have too much of it? Could it be that's why?
No, we don't have. No, we don't have. We don't have too much of it. Rather, we have failed to manage the diversity appropriately. That is the challenge we have. It's not that the language groups and the ethnic groups are too many. In other countries, that are even more populous than Nigeria, talk about India, talk about even China, you would think that the whole Chinese, they speak Mandarin as their major language, but even within China, there are different tribal groups in China. Same with India, same with every other country, Malaysia, that is large in population. The doing of democracy, America, theirs is an amalgamation of several entities that they build up to what is the current United States. What challenge we have is that we have failed to manage our own diversity. And the problem is structured along the kind of political practice that we have. In the 60s, we practiced the parliamentary system, and we had a respect in the world in the 60s, when we now went back to democracy that only lasted for 4 years, and the military struck again. And that is why there is a celebration that since 1999 we have had unbroken 26 years of civil rule, which some people tend to call democratic rule. But when you want to solve the problem of ethnic diversity in Nigeria, you cannot solve it by not respecting all these ethnic nationalities? And how do you respect them? We practice American presidential system of government. That system of government has a very central pivot that makes it to succeed in America and in any other country that has adapted it. And that pivot is through fiscal federalism. It's like we have taken the carcass of that system and left the flesh and the blood, make the system work. The flesh and blood that makes the American presidential system work is through fiscal federalism, which we don't practice here. Our own here is a confused democratic system that is an admixture of the carcass of the American presidential system with the central pivotal system of the unitary system of government under the military that has not allowed our presidential system to grow. And we also have the confused system that we got in the First Republic parliamentary experience. And that is why today you see parliamentarians cross-carpet to other political parties and still retain their seats. You see a governor elected on the platform of a political party, and he carries all the paraphernalia of office and all structures of government into another political party. Where is that done? In a presidential system of government. In the parliamentary system, you could cross-cut without any qualms. In the military system, you could have central command structure, and that is what we have. In the American system, you have separation of powers, where between the three arms of government, the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. You see that Nigeria is practicing a confused system, an admixture of some experience of parliamentary system, some experience from the military dictatorship, which is an authoritarian unitary system, and some blend of American presidential system. At the end of the day, we now have a confused governmental structure. And until we define the structure that we practice and give it firmness, this confusion will not end. Unfortunately, that is the prophecy of the Nigerian confused system. And that is why some of us who believe that we need to really restructure the polity and straighten it up along the line of true fiscal federalism. If we don't do so, this confusion will not end. Why would the solid minerals in Zamfara not serve the people of Zamfara and not serve the people of Northwest? Why would the bitumen in Ondo, that has the second largest bitumen deposit in the world, not serve the people of Ondo and people of Southwest? Why would the coal in Enugu not be exploited for the benefit of Enugu State and the Southeast? Why would the crude petroleum in South-South Belt not benefit the people to the extent that they will continue to agitate? And even with the palliative given to them,
if we do it that way,
and the creation of ministries to handle their issues, yet the problem is not solved.
Barrister, if we do it that way, don't you think that this ethnic problem, tensions will escalate even more? If we start to say, okay, this is my own money, this is my own, this thing was found on my soil, so therefore it should be for only me. Oh, you have just only this gold was found only in your soil, so therefore the gold should serve just. If we decide to do it like that for each state or each region, don't you think this will escalate even more?
Every zone. Let me use the word zone, because we used to have region in the First Republic. Today we have 6 geopolitical zones. Every zone in Nigeria is massively blessed, develop, grow, and contribute to the center. That is what we're talking about. So when we talk about restructuring or whatever name you want to call it, because of the confused structure that we practice presently, we need to retune, restructure, rejig, reshape, refine our structure of governance such that every people, and I mean people now, I'm talking about collectivity of the people in a particular zone. The people in every zone can now use their God-given resources, manage it. Today, there is no management, and that is why you talk about oil theft. I have never seen a country in the world where natives, the Nigerian people, citizens collude with foreigners to steal their patrimony. That is what you theft of gold in the northwest. That is where you see theft of solid minerals all around the country, creating insecurity, because it is very obvious that there is nexus between, there's a relationship, a direct relationship between solid mineral exploitation and insecurity in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you very much.
Because we are not running a good structure, it is creating insecurity and messing up the entire country. But if you run a good structure, you will defend and protect what God has given you, and you exploit it meaningfully for the benefit of your people. That's what we're talking about.
Barrister,
and you now contribute an agreed quota to the center.
Barrister, before I come to this structure,
sorry. Let me round up. Let me round up quickly.
All right.
That is the practice in America that has allowed their democracy to flourish. We have now taken the American presidential system and left behind the juice, the blood and the flesh of that system. And we are now practicing what I can call confused democracy, confused governmental system in Nigeria, and it is affecting everybody and everything that we're doing as a nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A whole lot has been said there, that coming from Barrister Fred Nzehako. Okay, let's move on to the conversation. Let's open the phone lines so you can be part of this conversation. You've had a lot, and examining the democratic challenges, talking from security, and now we're looking at the ethnic tension, and then quickly we'll look at the economy. The phone lines 0705 690 0927, 0705 690 0927, or you can call 0802 502 7711, 0802 502 7711. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Michael. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Yes, everybody.
Oh, good morning. All right, Ben from Heba, please make your comment.
Regional government is the best regional government. Let every region control their resources. The Nigerian may still control the Nigerian, let there be regional government. At least they will pay tax to the center. That will be the best thing that will happen. Let every country control what is in your soil. It will be that the best thing, so that most of all these governors will not be there. Because they have politicized insecurity in this country. It's why it is very difficult to fight them. Do you know that all the terrorists that are in the south, they are called hunters now. They have been branded as hunters. You see them in the streets, they are moving with trailers. About 50 of them with AK-47. They will go and be killing and kidnapping and doing all sorts. If they catch them, they say they are hunters. And look at the ones in Benue and Plateau. They told us they are foreigners. The governor of Benue told us they are foreigners. Because they are foreigners that are killing their people. And Mr. President said that it's a communal clash. And how do you reconcile it? Mr. President cannot listen to all these experts. And he said the people that are very close to all these terrorists are telling you who they are. Mr. President said it's a communal clash. And then people kept on calling. Look at yesterday night now. About 50 people were killed in Plateau. How many communities, about 80 farmlands were destroyed? How many communities? About 15,000 left their communities and run to IDP camp. This is what just happened on Machete they carry. When only one party will carry 80%, the other party will not carry anything, and you are calling it communal class. Mr. President, you rise up and fight. And the person we should in the country, where we can utilize Mr. President to start a conference center. You should immortalize all these plants. What does let it in Plateau and Benue? You should
Okay.
call the name of those places after Tinubu, Bolamede Tinubu.
Okay.
Let me answer those names also. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your time. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning. What's the name and
Yeah.
where you're calling from? Spotlight is the show.
This is Mr. Stephen calling from Lagos, Johnny Key.
All right, Stephen from
You know, I
Janaki.
so much like the intellectuals you bring to us, to analyze and tell us the problem we have in this country and how to go about them. But the best thing I would like you to do for us as a Nigerian is to relate everything Barrister have said today. Please kindly relate it to those that are governing us. It's like they are totally confused and they are running a confused system. Please kindly relate it to them. Look for a way to record this message and pass it to them so that they learn from all Barrister have said this morning. This is just my submission. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. We have representatives also. The government definitely are listening right now. All our complaints, and all our talks. Yes, government definitely, absolutely listening. Okay, yes, you can call us 0705 690 0927. 0705 690 0927. Or you can call 0802 502 7711. 0802 502 7711. Don't forget, you can also send us a message via WhatsApp on 0705 6900 927. 0705 6900 927. Okay, let's go to our WhatsApp messages. Okay, say, good morning, crew. There is a saying, when the righteous rule. Well, you didn't put your name in this. You didn't put your name. Please put your name, and then we will take the message again. Put your name so that I will know where you're sending this message from. Okay, hello, good morning. Okay, please, can you tone down the volume on your radio set?
I've turned down the volume.
Thank you very much. What's your name and where you're calling from? Spotlight is the show.
I am on Naiu. The issue in Nigeria, these people, they have found their way to government. They are doing whatever. They are hearing you, but they cannot compare to it because their interest first. That is true in it. Until the people fight for themselves. God bless you.
God bless you too. Okay, the message. Okay, Lekon are from Lagos. Man, I want to ask: are we in a democracy, or autocracy, or feudalism? 2 years of sorrows, tears, and blood since this government said through the back door of cash and carry, INEC, and judiciary, they have enslaved Nigerians through their obnoxious policies that has turned the people to beggars and almajiri in the midst of plenty, and also turned the nation to a gangster paradise, while they tax the daylight of you, expecting you not to protest. They will say it's treasonable, while they enjoy a luxury lifestyle. One man compromised all institutions for 2027 election gains. It is a shame the worst of us is ruling the best of us. Truly, there was a country. All right, that's Lekon from Lagos. Yes, the phone lines are still open. 0705 690 0927. Spotlight is the show. Yes, we're addressing the challenges of democratic. Yes, examining the democratic challenges. We're looking at security. We're looking at the ethnic tension. And then we're also examining the economy aspect of these democratic challenges. Okay, I come to Mr. Adams. Mr. Adams, are you there?
Yes, I am.
What about the ethnic tension? Barrister Fred had said a whole lot, addressing all of this ethnic tension. But then, let's look at it this way. This regional government that has been said by the barrister, this regional way that each region, each zone should probably try to cater for what they have, try to be able to get what they produce, to be able to use to feed their state, to be able to use to develop their state. Do you think This will play a great role in this democratic system.